Good afternoon and welcome to this webinar on how to value a business in the swim school community, and also how to start to think about transitioning your business one day. So for a lot of people, maybe you just got into business, maybe you're just having a great time running your company. We really feel like it's important from the day you open your doors and through the life of your company for you to think about your eventual exit. So we know that you're mainly in business as a mission to do good work. We certainly want to support that. And at the same time, we want you to know that what you're creating builds value. And we want as our mission to help you realize that value at some point when you choose. So those are our topics today. We love getting to know our swim school community. I have two of my favorite rock star people joining me today. We would like to invite you throughout this hour to ask us questions or make comments. You can go to the chat bar, and we will be happy to take those as we go. And also we'll leave a bit of time at the end for questions that you might have. And certainly don't let this be the end of your connection with the Hinge team. We have some resources we'd like to tell you about, and we are here to support your efforts for your company to be as financially healthy as possible throughout the life of your company, and to, again, exit when the time is right for you. I would like to tell you about a couple of opportunities with the Hinge team. So the Hinge company, I founded 20 years ago. We're just celebrating our 20th anniversary. We're just past it. So that was really exciting. We got our start in early education transactions, and those can expand from childcare to activity-based companies, real estate companies, technology companies. And we are excited to have entered the swim school space, mainly because the majority of our investors in early education have expressed an interest also in the swim school community. And at least 3 of those have also invested already in the swim school community. We do have a lot of clients currently who operate in both arenas, and we're working really hard to build the same type of services and financial benchmarking, which I'll share with you during the course of this webinar, for your community that we have for 20 years for the early education space, and to expand into this arena. We would like to let you know that there are 2 arms of our company. There's our transaction advising team, which consists of 2 attorneys, 6 transaction advisors, 2 financial analysts, and a diligence manager and a marketing content creator. That is the team that would help you with gaining investors in your company or exiting your company. Also, we have an arm of the company we call Success Services. And these services are designed to help you run your company more efficiently, attract team members better, retain team members, understand what the numbers should look like, connect with like-minded individuals in your industry. And so that part of the company, our Success Services arm, has a lot of opportunities in it. And this is just one. We have a staff of 3 team members who do financial coaching, and they are doing a fantastic job. We also have a certified coach on staff. I am going to introduce you right now to Alita Mechtel, who leads our mastermind groups for Hinge, and we have an opportunity that we would like to let you know about. This says, for you guys, join us on social media. You'll find out about opportunities. We hold events and conferences. We do webinars all the time. We're always creating new content. But use these. You can scan these or reach out to us. If I can, I will pull it up again at the end. But I would like to introduce you to Alita Mechtel, who like I said, leads our mastermind groups and services, and she is just a rock star of information and pulling together business owners to share best practices. So welcome. Thank you for joining, Rita.
Thanks, Kathy. Yeah, I am so excited. I have been working with Kathy for a little over a year, and I have run the mastermind groups for childcare owners. So I'm excited to let you guys know that I am opening up my schedule and have room for mastermind groups for swim school owners and leaders. There's so much power that can happen in a mastermind group. And so I just want to take a couple of minutes and let you know what this is all about and why a mastermind group can truly change your entire way you look at your company. And it's truly a game changer, you guys. So basically, who is the mastermind for? I tell you, it's any swim school owner or leader that you're working with. This is a group of individuals that come together every month and discuss different topics that are going to best help your company move forward in a really good direction. People that aren't afraid to get out of their comfort zone and take their company to the next level. People who want accountability, maybe they're stuck with something, maybe they're feeling less motivated these days. Well, when you're in a mastermind group, it takes everyone's ideas and strength and lifts you up on a pedestal. And when you are talking about your challenges, everyone in that mastermind group, including myself, holds you accountable for the success that you are going to have in that upcoming year. And so the other person it's for is anyone wanting to level up, of course, with the support of others. And you think about mastermind groups and you think about how is this going to truly make my company better? And I just want to tell you a little bit about why they're so impactful. Well, you have me, of course, and I'm here to facilitate. And I do a little bit of best business coaching in the first few minutes. And then we have a lot of time in the next hour to talk about some of the ways we can problem solve some of the challenges we're going through. And so when you leave the calls, I'm hoping that you get clarification on any of the goals that you've set for yourself or any of the answers where you're finding that you are struggling or you are having challenges. So it also develops a group of people that you can rely on and go to should you come up with a challenge in your company in between our calls. This builds a great opportunity to have a friend to call or someone to rely on to help you walk you through those problems. And of course, you can always reach out to me. The content areas that we would be talking about in the mastermind groups, you're probably wondering, really it's about curriculum development for your swim schools, marketing and branding, any staff training and development, business operations, maybe facilities management, anything that falls in that. Financial management, industry trends and best practices. That is a really good one. And, personal development. What do you want to do as an owner or a leader to get better for your team and your swim schools? And so basically, we have these on the same day every month. That will be Tuesdays. And we will let you know exactly what date that is when we get the enrollments to make sure that you are in the right group that you have. And then, this really is, if you are thinking about joining mastermind groups, this really is for people that want to show up, people that have great questions ready for them, people that want to implement and take action. These are the kind of people we want in our mastermind groups, the people that are going to bring energy to make sure that we have a successful hour together. My goal in these mastermind groups is to help you fill your gaps in what you're already doing. So all of us are doing really well and you're working really hard to make successful businesses. But there's always those questions or those gaps or those holes that we're just kind of stuck. And so we're here to help each other and uplift each other to make that happen. And, now, you're probably thinking, should I join? Is this something that's going to be for me? Well, I just want to say only join if you're coachable. Only join if you're a go-getter, an action taker, somebody that is open to getting some feedback. That's who I want on these calls. I want to be supportive to all the business owners. I want to be supportive to all the leaders. And we can't just show up in these calls and just sit and not actively partake. So I always say, what would be possible if the people around you refused to let you fail? So make 2024 your year, you guys. I only have a limited amount of spaces, and I want to tell you that you are the first group of people that we're rolling this out to before we show up at the swim class conference, the USSA in Orlando, and we're rolling this out to our shift conference in a couple of weeks. So I want you guys to be the first ones to take part in this. And because of that, if you put the word mastermind in the chat box, the masterminds are $1,500 for the entire year. And you guys, today, in the chat box, if you put the word mastermind, we will give you $200 off, and you will be the first being able to enroll in this program before it fills. So I want to give you that opportunity. If you are rewatching this and you're not here live and you are watching this when it comes out as a recap, please email me at alita@theteachersfortomorrow.com. And we can make sure that you get that $200 off coupon in your checkout. So would love to make sure that you get on there, and just remember, great things never come from comfort zones. So I want to see you on these mastermind calls.
Thank you so much. I guess I should have said that we helped this wonderful person exit her own company a couple of years ago. So I couldn't be any more honored that a person we supported would choose to be a part of the Hinge team. So thank you for that. And thank you for creating this opportunity. Alita mentioned that 2 of our team members will be at USSSA next week. Nan Reichard, who I will introduce in just a minute, will be there. Tom Wood will be there from our team. Tom created our leadership sprint content, and we will tell you more about that if you are there, but he will be speaking, and I think you'll really enjoy him. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of creativity around your team and pulling your team together and making for a meaningful experience and work experience for them. So look for Nan, look for Tom next week. And I am going to introduce Nan Reichard, whose company was I'll have to say that I've known Nan for about 25 years, but also we helped Nan exit her company about 4 years ago. And again, incredibly honored that a person like Nan and a person like Alita would choose to join our team. Nan joined our team January 1st of this year to specifically lead our initiative to support swim school owners. Nan has operated her own swim schools. She's operated her own childcare centers. She has sold them twice over her career. And so she knows this material and all of the emotions and the strategies that go along with running this kind of process. So I am going to turn it over to Nan Reichard, and she will talk to you guys about how to think about your succession. Thanks for joining, Nan.
Thank you, Kathy. And like Kathy said, I've worked with Kathy for a long time, known her 25 plus years, and have been in the early education industry for over 35 years. So I'm really telling my age here, but I've loved every minute of it. I have worked and started a swim school. It was in conjunction with one of my childcare schools. I had a group that I sold in the late 90s to a regional provider, went to work for that regional provider and was a part of a lot of acquisitions. Was able to really gain experience with the gelling of cultures, finding the right fit, growing by opportunity, growing by strategically, and so just gained a lot of experience there. But certainly went to own my own company again in 2012 with more acquisitions. So needless to say, I love the finding the right fit and working with cultures, working to gel those cultures and create something that goes to the next level yet again, working with what that owner created in a foundation, the synergies, moving forward and taking that whole group to the next level with a new company. So, and I did that with my my company, Big Blue Marble, in 2012 through 2018, and Hinge took us through the process. And so I wanted to take all of that experience and apply it to owners that are wanting to take their company to the next level with an exit. But swim schools certainly have been a joy to work with. The owners are absolutely amazing, in the industry and the space are just full of energy and just have a lot of sizzle right now. And it's very known that a lot of people are wanting to get into this space, and that's why we're here to bring cultures together and hopefully help the sellers who have put their blood, sweat, and tears into their company, help them go in an exit or carry on and go to the next level with their company. So I want to start out by talking about what our options are. Like Kathy said, day one, when you're going into business, you need to start thinking about what your succession plan is. And we know life changes. We know a lot may take place that diverts that plan, but we still need to work toward the end goal, because everything you do to prepare is going to help your company stronger. Even though you're preparing for the succession plan, those steps just make your company stronger and more profitable and to get you in a better position. So the first one I want to talk about is an option: close your doors. And while we don't like that option, because we always feel that there's value in your business that you've really worked in developing, that you've put your heart and soul into, to close your doors just seems like not the best option. However, I'm sure that there are opportunities or situations that need to happen quickly. But someone is always wanting to go into the space that even the FF&E or even if you have a handful of children, it's an opportunity where a new provider is not starting from scratch. So there is value there. Even in the swim school industry, when you are a company that has all hosted schools, in your hosted relationship, it's something to just not walk away from, because you spent time, energy in developing those relationships. So there's value in someone else continuing that. So when it's time to think, next week, I'm going to send a letter out to my parents and not show up, think twice about that, because there is someone that would see the value, pay for the value, and get take your company on to the next level, even if it's not the right time for you. The next one is transition to team management and retain ownership. This one I have seen go into action. It can be hard and it can be easy. It can be easy in the sense that the management knows the company. It's easy to transition. They're right there at your fingertips. You most likely have trained them. They know the company well, but to step back and not, have a momentum to move forward without you being involved. What could happen when you step out is questionable. And most importantly, you don't receive your value out of the company as you're stepping away. So if you're looking to get your value out of the company, this probably isn't the right one. However, to sell to a team member could be one that you get your value out of. I've seen this one happen as well. Actually, I just talked to someone recently in the swim school industry that was wanting to do this. It was involving a lot of owner financing. It was involving a timeline that the owner gradually stepped away. So it wasn't anything they could do immediately. And we even talked about, was it a situation that they're really receiving their maximum value? Most likely not, because it's not a competitive process. There's obligations involved. You're feeling like you need to, work with that person because you have skin in the game still, if it is through an owner financing situation. So long story short, that could be an easy one, but maybe not the best one to receive your maximum value. The next is transition to the next generation. And I've seen this one work a lot, and I've seen this one not work. We'd all love to know that we could carry on our legacy through our children, and know that our children will carry on the same business mission. However, I think a lot of characteristics need to be evaluated, for your next generation. Are they business savvy? Are they focused? Will they carry on what's worked? Will they have a breath of fresh air to bring new ideas? So it could be a good thing to generate a lot of newness to the company and keep it in the family, and possibly even retain some ownership. This could be done through an owner financing type situation. So over a period of time, they can pay you out, or a loan, or could go into place and give you that value and exit. However, again, this may not be the best situation to see if you have maximized your value and your exit. You could also sell to an inexperienced operator, meaning one that is wanting to get into the space, one that wants to come into your area, and that they're looking for a facility, and you happen to sell your facility and business for their opportunity. This can be, an easier, quick situation. You're not going through the competitive process again, which we truly believe in, obviously, because we feel like it's, always great to go through that process to ensure that you're getting the highest and best value. And not only that, getting the best fit for your company. Through the process of acquisitions and selling my company through a process with Hinge, it was really important for me to interview multiple candidates, multiple buyers, to not only see the value they were willing to give me, but also see what their vision for the company was, their vision for the foundation that I had created, and if they were going to be a fit for my families and employees as well. You can sell to a local competitor. I have done that. I had a situation where a school was not presenting to be the right fit for the company in my portfolio. I knew that was one that I needed to exit. And I found a local competitor that was looking to expand, and they moved right in. The value was probably not the greatest, but it was a way for me to exit with a situation that was probably not one of my best. So again, that may not be a situation to see your maximum value, but you can get good value out of a local competitor, and that could be an easy exit for you. multi-site operators. We have so many that we work with. And in the swim school industry, there's a lot of multi-site owners that are looking to grow through opportunity. So, as we are working with swim schools going through the process, that is one of our pool of buyers, multi-site operators. And some of the multi-site operators are now fall into an umbrella owned by private equity. And many of them keep, if they're multi-sites, they can keep your brand if you have a good platform and a good brand, or you can fold into their brand. So this does instill a process and a good opportunity to see what your value is, whether you have just the businesses or real estate as well. Many operators are looking to grow through just one site, multi-sites, and then to sell to private equity. I have had an experience with selling to private equity, and again, it's a process of interviewing, seeing the offers, maximizing your value as an exit. But private equity, I must say, all private equity are not the same. Everyone has their own personality. Just like a marriage, you have to interview and have a courtship to understand if your mission is aligned, if your values are aligned, if you feel that this your legacy will continue, and what the goal is to grow. It was important for me to see that my company was going to grow and go to the next level, and money was going to be inserted into the business to build stronger curriculum, stronger employee benefits, grow and work with capital projects. And so all those things can be communicated to see if you have a fit, and if the company, your company, is in line with the private equity fit. So there's multiple options. We certainly like the ones where you go through a process, a competitive process, because only in those situations are you able to see, am I getting the maximum value for my business? Because you only get one opportunity to sell your business. And so when you do it, you need to make sure it's you've taken the right steps and it's the right decision. So Kathy, if you would like to share your thoughts on what it's worth.
Terrific. Thank you, Nan. There's nothing better than personal experience and going through that. I'm so uncoordinated on these slides, but hopefully everybody will forgive me a little bit. But thank you for sharing your personal experience. There's nothing like I've been where you are, and here's what I learned, and here's how I can help you in a better way. So Nan's going to join us again for some content on how you can make your business more valuable. I would like to share right here in the middle our financial modeling and the valuation process. And I want you to think about this two ways. I know a lot of people are in growth mode, and that's great. We want to support your growth. We don't do that officially. We don't represent buyers, but if you ever have an opportunity you want an opinion on, somebody on the Hinge team is happy to spitball it with you. This model is it's probably 30 years in the making. So for the whole life of our company, and this is actually my 38th year in the education space, so 20 years of having Hinge, but for longer than Hinge has been around, because my background is accounting. I came from public accounting and quickly realized that there weren't resources in the industry to compare yourself with what a financially healthy company looks like. Everyone just makes it up. You know, we don't know. Maybe we have a friend, maybe we talk through it with other people, but to really have a reliable resource in, oh, okay, this is, you know, at this level of income, here's what I should be spending in different expense categories is really, really hard to find. But because our work all day long is reviewing financials and the possibility of helping people exit, we see financial statements and performance from companies all across the industry. So we would see performance from very large companies, from small multi-site companies, from individual companies, from hosted companies. So we have created a very reliable financial performance metric. I am happy to send this to you guys in Excel format. If anyone will just put your name in the chat bar and let us know that you'd like the financial performance spreadsheet. What I'm currently building is a model where you can input your average monthly enrollments and what you charge for fees, and this will populate. It's something that we created long ago for the childcare community, and it's also the same model we use when we perform valuations, which we do for free for business owners. So if anyone out there in a confidential manner, and we're happy to sign confidentiality, if anyone wants to know this is what my company's worth today and get a little bit of advice on if you did these things, you know, in 2 years you would be at this, then it's a service the Hinge team performs as a way to build a relationship with you. Everything doesn't have to be about your eventual exit. We want to support you all along the way. So what we've created here is the model that we use when we list swim school companies. Not if you operate both, I will say this, that the model is not hugely different from a childcare model. There are really two places where it varies and two swim schools benefit. So from a financial performance standpoint, the two places that are different are that we're finding swim schools to be able to spend less as a percentage of revenue for salaries and less as a percentage of revenue for rent or mortgage. So, you know, in our world, we believe there are 5 pillars of financial health. It's how full are you, or how well are you maximizing the number of children and adults that you serve. It's what do you charge for that service. It's a very big under-recognized problem in both industries. What are you discounting? Are you refunding? Are you giving credits? Nan will talk a little bit more about that. And then our 2 biggest expenses, which are staff cost and rent or mortgage. So we coach around those 5 issues and believe that if you get those 5 aligned correctly, you're going to be 95% of your way to financial health, with occupancy or the volume being the most important one. So, and here's the logic: at a certain level of occupancy, your expenses are largely covered. So one more registration, one more client, one more student, all of that fee income flows straight to the bottom line. So I get a little preachy on these things. So let me move on here. So this is our financial model. You will see that at the moment we've created it for a medium-sized company and a large company. I'm working on a model for a smaller company. And you can see how we have separated this into 4 buckets, which are your staff cost in all categories, your programming cost. In other words, what does it cost you to operate your curriculum and your swim program? What are your facility costs? What are your administrative costs? And then what is your cash flow, the bottom line? So I'm going to leave this model at that because we're going to launch from this cash flow number into a business value. So I'm going to show you by using this model how we would determine what a company is worth. Again, if you would like this model in Excel, please reach out. If you have questions right now where you're going to say, you have got to be kidding, no way would I ever spend this, or that's completely not enough, that would help us actually. You know, we'd love to hear from you. And also just know every company's different. So you're never going to be 100% aligned with what the model looks like. Just know why you aren't, and know that you're probably making a business decision not to be, which is okay. It's your company. You can do anything you want. All right. So if we launch from this model, here's how evaluation is performed and how you should think about it if you are choosing to acquire a company, and how we would think about it if we were advising you on exiting your company. So we want to start, we want some history just because we want to see trends, but really the last 12 months of financial performance is all that matters. We're in a very fast changing environment. What we want to know is what have you, or what has that business owner created today that's reliable, and that's generally the last 12 months. There are exceptions. One exception would be if you're on a ramp, if you're new, if you've had an event, you're trending down, trending up. Generally, the last 12 months is all that matters, and that doesn't have to be a calendar year. So here we are in September. I have to think hard about that. That's bad. We're in September. If we were going to ask for the most recent 12 months numbers, we would probably want a rolling period that started July 1st of 22 and roll through June 30th of 23. So, or bump it up another month or two, whatever's prepared. But at any rate, you get my point. Any 12-month period is good, and the more recent, the better. So what if you have ramping schools, in other words, schools that are new or overcoming some kind of decline and they're on an upward growth, for valuation purposes, for our clients who are selling, we would project those out to maturity. This might get a little complicated, but I'll say it. If you're buying, you shouldn't pay somebody for what they haven't created yet. Perhaps you pay them something for what they have currently created, and a little bit more a year later if it improves. But we hear that a lot from business owners. Well, a new owner could do so and so. Well, good. They want that upside. That's why they're investing, right? But if they have to pay to create it and work to create it, they're not going to pay a seller for it, and neither should you. We're going to adjust to go forward EBITDA. So EBITDA sounds, like a complicated term. It isn't. It's just a way for us accountants to make ourselves sound better. So EBITDA stands for earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. But don't get lost in that. All it means is cash flow. So if you think about this logically, an investor wants to pay for the cash flow stream that they're going to have going forward. I mean, it's great. They've got to start with what your performance was, but their cash flow situation could be very different for a good many reasons. And I'm going to say some of those now. So first of all, owners run a lot of personal expenses through their companies. Perfectly fine. I'm a business owner right there with you. It's okay. Nobody cares. We're not the IRS. But we do work really hard to remove those and show a new investor that those would go away. So we want to, when it says add back, it's a little misleading, but that's what it's called. So I want to give you the term that you would hear in a process. It's basically taking the bottom line cash flow and adding any expense to it, which increases the cash flow. That's why it's called an add back. Any other adjustments might be that maybe the rent's going to be higher. Maybe there's a new mortgage and it's going to change. Maybe the buyer has an employee benefit like health insurance that the seller didn't. So a new investor needs to make any adjustments that make it look like what they're going to make on the very first day. And then we're going to apply the multiple. The multiple says how based on the annual cash flow of this business, when I take over, how many times that am I willing to pay? So let's call it 3. That's low. I'm just going to be honest. We are pushy on multiples, but it's good, just easy number. So if your annual cash flow is $100,000 and the buyer chooses to use a 3 multiple, your business is worth $300,000. As you can see from our financial model, we're seeing much bigger numbers in cash flow. As that number gets bigger, the multiple gets bigger. So it can range from 3 to 10. The number of sites makes a difference. The EBITDA or cash flow makes a difference. So again, I said a lot of this, but we're going to start with the most recent 12-month financial statement. For mature sites, so a mature site would have been in operation for more than 36 months. So most investors believe that in 3 years, a school should, or a site should be fully mature. We're going to project out anything that's less than 36 months old unless it's already at a fully ramped revenue. We're going to adjust to go forward EBITDA, which means we remove interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. We're going to add back anything related to the owner. Just be sure if you're a seller, you can substantiate that. If you're a buyer, be sure you ask for the documentation around that. And then anything else in here, some of the other things to mention, I mentioned rent or benefits. Sometimes there's some management or overhead expenses, property taxes. So in some places, property taxes for certain people they don't have to pay property taxes, and under certain structures they do. Healthcare I mentioned, and then we've got a footnote. It matters who the buyer is because it's the buyer's expense load that should determine what the go forward cash flow looks like. So that is the general valuation methodology. I will say it's a little more of an art than a science. We tend to be super aggressive. We want to take the most aggressive approach, and investors can always push back, but they're not really going to give it back to us if we don't ask for it. So we take a pretty aggressive approach. It's helpful that we've likely closed a transaction already with the majority of the private equity and the large group investors. So we kind of know how they're going to look at valuations and give some advice there. But again, if you want to look at this for your company, please reach out. We're happy to talk to you about how the process would work and how that might look for you. So I am going to, I'm so sorry. I've got a couple more things. So these are some factors that affect the multiple. So I mentioned the EBITDA, that's the main thing. So the level of the EBITDA. In addition, the number of sites, the demographic area that you operate in, the quality of the real estate, the quality of your systems and your programming, and go forward management. And Nan's going to talk a little bit more about that. I've got a little content on real estate here. I'm going to skip past it real quickly. I want to be sure Nan gets a chance to do the content on how to make it more valuable. If we have some time, we'll take questions and I can flip back to the real estate content if we have more time. So Nan, back over to you.
Thank you, Kathy. So what can you do to make your business more valuable? Well, I have always felt that no matter what, you have to be in growth mode. And growth, the definition of growth means different things to different people. There's a lot of different levels of growth. If you're a single site and you really don't want more than one site, well, there's a lot of things internally you can do to grow your revenue, to grow your sophistication of your systems, to have more sophisticated training, to beef up your curriculum. There's steps that you can do to put you in a better, a stronger light and more desirable when it is time. Because remember, we're starting on day one and we're working toward the succession plan, and it means a lot of growth and a lot of taking the right steps to make your business more valuable. So with hosted programs and dedicated programs, same. So all this applies. There's a lot of opportunities to add more sites, more pools, add more children within those sites, add days. So we'll talk about some of those things. Increase your capacity. And that can be done by looking at your water, looking at your vacant water, and adding classes, adding children in the classes if you're able to, whatever your ratios may be. If you have open spots, making sure that you have a marketing campaign in place. There's a lot of buzz around mod pools and container pools. Do you have space to add something like that? Or do you have the ability to add another site if you're a hosted company? So always be thinking a step ahead. Expanding your facility may be an option. Are you in an inline space to where the storefront next door opens up and you're able to expand that way? Or are you able to add on to your facility? Be 80 to 90% full to capacity. And again, always having marketing strategies, always having a sophisticated marketing campaign, CRM that you're able to fill those slots quickly, and make sure you're utilizing your opportunities to the fullest. Increase fees at least 3 to 5% annually, and we think that's a minimum. We're living in a time that everyone expects things to increase because everything is increasing. So you almost have an open door if you haven't done this, but certainly don't take on the burden of cost, of expenses that are naturally happening right now and not passing it on. So certainly make those increases annually so you stay up with inflation, and plus, ensuring you're making a profit. Remove all discounts and credits. So this could be a situation where it's instantaneous that you're getting more revenue if you just remove unnecessary refunds and credits. And we understand that industry-wide, this is happening more and more. So certainly take advantage of not offering the refunds and not offering the credits for unused classes. Charge a registration fee. We have insurance, we have replenishment of equipment and different things that we're using during our classes, and just the overall paying of a receptionist, and just so many things go into building out these classes. Charge a registration fee. It's accepted in the industry, and parents usually do not question it. So certainly take advantage of that ability to add more revenue. Remodel, rebrand, refresh every 8 years. If you haven't been introduced to Better Beans branding, certainly look them up. They focus on the education industry. They are going to be at the USSSA conference in Orlando next week, and they're very excited to start working with swim school owners in the space. And so they have a style that they come in and just assess everything that is visual, tying everything to consistency, whether it's consistency with your logo, consistency with your colors, and just giving a lot of sizzle to what you already have. They take your curriculum and your differentiators, your story, and just work with it to give your company a nice fresh look. I've used them, been extremely happy. Many years ago when I interviewed private equity and just finding out what the different companies were looking for. There was a common thread among many of them, and they said, with multiple sites, how do I know I'm walking into your company in this city, and then I walk into another one of your facilities? How do I know they're the same facility? So it really made me stop and pause that, while in many situations when you're growing by opportunity, your facilities are going to look different. And that's just a given, unless you're building them from ground up. So when they do look different, it is just really important for the brand to have consistencies. And that's just such an easy way to make your differentiators sizzle. So certainly keep that in mind. Utilize platforms for financial tracking and communications. So if not daily, at the very least on a weekly basis, it needs to be where you have a platform that you can see your dashboard. You see your revenue, you see how your enrollment, your staff costs, how much these different expenses are costing, where you can track them. What are your trends? What do you need to work on? You certainly don't need to do it after the fact and after it's happened. You need to view it while it's happening, so you can make a correction before it, too many days or too many weeks have gone by. So certainly have a platform where dashboards are your go-to. It's something that you go to and run your business by. It's extremely important, which leads me into automate your marketing and hiring. If you have a CRM, great for you. It's really important that you stay on marketing, stay filling your slots, have everything automated, and certainly have that working for you in your hiring as well. Your applications online, that it automatically is doing that work for you. And there's great systems out there that can do that. And last but not least, starting day one, find the plan that is going to work your way out of a job. And when I say that, certainly it doesn't mean that you're going away, but that is the objective, the goal, but you're delegating. You are getting a strong management team in place. Everyone knows their job. You're cross-training. It's really important when you get to the point that you start thinking about exiting, when your business is sold, when a new buyer comes in, they want to know that things aren't going to fall apart the day that you leave. They want to know that you've built things to last. And that's just a really important component as you are, building for a succession plan. And, certainly, so many times you have to be hands-on, and especially in the beginning, but work your way to where you are the visionary and you, just work that dream to your exit. So Kathy, I think that's all I have. If we have any questions.
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions, and if we hit them all, I go back to this real estate content. Nan, in your processes, and I know you've done this twice now, what would you have done differently? Maybe what didn't quite go so well, and what would you have done differently or thought about differently?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is it's extremely important to have an attorney and an accountant that are aligned with your mission, with your business. It doesn't have to be a very high priced person that you can't afford in the beginning, but certainly align yourself with someone that's going to be able to take you through to a process, because it means a lot when they know your business and they know your goal and your mission, and they're working with you to the exit. Recently, I had a stumbling block where, had a seller that wanted to desperately sell, and the attorney was just, making things difficult. You want someone that sees the vision and certainly protects you through the process, but also helps you get over the finish line.
Awesome. And one more for you before we let you off the hook. Advice to anyone who's thinking about running their own process in 3 to 5 years. So what would you focus on in those 3 to 5 years?
Well, it's really important to build your enrollment, because we're looking at multiples here. So you want to get the very best EBITDA that you possibly can. Really put a marketing campaign in place to get you where you need to be. Certainly maximize, but also think of your role. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay in the business? Do you want to see if there's a company that allows you to take a different role, an advisory role? But whatever it may look like, really start working with your staff to make them strong, independent, and you're working as an advisory role instead of hands-on jumping in and subbing for a teacher that's out, or subbing for the receptionist. And really make sure that you have your people in place, because that is going to be such a strong asset as a buyer looks to your company.
Awesome. Thank you. Any final questions? We have about 4 minutes left, and actually I am going to save the real estate valuation content and perhaps schedule another webinar that digs a little deeper into the financial picture and the valuation, because it'd be hard to do that justice in 4 minutes, and want to be sure we get any other questions answered.
And Kathy, I'd love to meet with anyone that's interested. If you're going to be at USSSA in Orlando, we will have a booth. Tom Wood will be there as well. And I would certainly like to have coffee, have a 15-20 minute session, certainly talk about your goals and your strategy of an exit, or how we can just help you grow.
And Nan, you and Tom are going to have a booth as well. Is that right? They can stop by.
That's right.
Okay. Well, we're excited to be there and hope that a lot of you guys will be too. Thanks so much for joining us. We're really loving our new relationships and our work that we're doing with the swim school community, and love the work that you guys do. We have so much respect for the work that you're doing and are just happy to be a part of it. So thank you so much for joining. We hope to see you guys at the conference next week, and certainly reach out and let us know if we can support you in any way. Reminder to put your name in the chat bar if you would like information on the mastermind group and any other information that you would like from us. We're so happy to support. Take care and be well.